All right, guys, welcome back to the YCast. So this is season 9, week 11. I'm your host, Yubel, and I'm joined with.
Motork?
All right, it's just the two of us this week. Sorry. So, starting off, let's go ahead and discuss how the matches went this previous week. So, match 1, we had Afterlife versus Androids, which Afterlife pulled off a victory. Match 2 was Blades versus Valkyries, where Blades are once again keeping up their nice win amount. Match 3 was Booze versus Dragon Ball Warriors, where Booze are keeping up that win streak. Yes, go Booze. Match 4 was a divisional, Ginyu versus Majins, where Majins had a crushing victory, but we will go ahead and discuss that. Match 5 was Art Defenders versus Derp, and of course Art Defenders won. Who cares, you know?
Oh, you say that just because I'm right here.
Match 6 was Rugrats versus Cold, which Rugrats won once again, playing that Gotenks card. Match 7 was Namek versus Gohans, where Gohans finally got out of their lost streak and got a win. Match 8 was Muscle versus Sans, where Sans just played that game well, despite that finally seeing a transform Broly. Sans still won. Alright, so we had some fairly interesting topics this week. We're going to, of course, go ahead and discuss the usual divisional match of the week. And our main topic for this week is we have a couple of teams who are either 100% set for the playoffs or one win away, and we're going to go ahead and discuss those teams, how we think they will be as a five-man team, and how far do we think they're going to get in the playoffs. So before we hop into that, let's go ahead and talk about the divisional match. So there's not much to talk about. Majin's crushed Ginyu Force. No offense to Ginyu Force, but this was kind of expected. Majub whooped so much butt. I think he fought like 3 people. I think he did like 90k. You know, he slapped up. I believe they started with Jace. So he was having a pretty good fight against Jace, but then Jace decided to tag her early, and it just went downhill from there. Goldo came in. There was no way in any planet in any dimension that Goldo would be able to stack up to the melee that is Majub. So he just took out Goldo real quick, a lot of damage. I think Goldo also tagged, and then Birder came in, and Birder got slapped up a little bit before doing finally taking out Majub. But yeah, damage was done. You know, they traded damage to 3 other people for just Majub.
It just seems like a lot of the matches for Ginyu, it depends on Jace on where he's placed and how well he does. It often feels like it's coming down to him.
Yeah, Jace is definitely one of their best members, and we had a lot of changes for Ginyu Force this week. Not only did we see a switch around, they took out Rikuma and brought back in Birder. Not that he did that great this week, Birder, but we also have a temporary switch of coaches. The coach of the Ginyu Force is, a little bit busy with life and stuff, so he has to go. The supporter doesn't really feel comfortable taking over, so their temporary coach is Burnerator. Yes, that Burnerator. And his first week as this temporary coach didn't go so hot. The switch for Birder, they put him on more of a key build. He really didn't do too much. Majins, they didn't even have to step out. Not only did they put out Majin, who's a really strong character, but Deborah didn't even have to come out in the field and fight. Babidi did really well, and Babidi's one of the weakest. Babidi did like 60k, and Goku, he's a really strong free agent with the Eternal Light, that defense build, always doing his teleport behind you Kamehameha, and it was just a thrashing. But did anybody really expect anything different? I mean, we were cheering for Ginyu Force to win. We want them to win, but did we really expect them to win? No, not really. You got anything else to say about this divisional?
Not much else other than, I guess, I hope if they are going to do some work to characters for the next season, modding wise, I hope Ginyu Force gets a major buff.
Yeah, I mean, their stats are kind of lacking. Really, I'd just say there's issue with their consistency. All their characters are struggling to get over 40k. They still have a chance, like a little bit of a chance. Like if they can possibly win this divisional they have this upcoming week, they could make it to the playoffs. But as personally, I wouldn't worry about it. I worry about just trying to get a character or 2 consistent for next season, because if you don't have anything really set in stone consistent and you try to go into next season like that, you're going to be struggling just as hard. So
Yeah.
yeah, well,
One of Goldo was close to it.
Yeah.
Jace is close to it. Ginyu was close to it. So those three, I feel like, are your three really good characters right now. If you were to get them to be very consistent, I feel like you would have much more of a solid team.
Mm-hmm. Your reliance on Gotenks, Boo, it might be best just to put him out for the rest of the season and try to get your main roster good, because
That's what we did in North Defenders, is that we don't rely on the free agents, because since we know we're not going to be getting one, that we decided just focus on our main team, get everyone up to top shape.
yeah. And it works. Look at you guys. You're the complete opposite of them. They got one win while you only got one loss. And the funny thing is, that one win and one loss is by the same team. That's the funny thing. Your one loss is to Afterlife, and their one win is to Afterlife. Yeah. So hopefully, we're going to be rooting for you, getting you forced to win this upcoming week. You got an important divisional. Maybe you can squeeze into the playoffs, but I don't know. But Majins, we're going to be discussing them because of that win. They are pretty much set in stone for the playoffs. So are we good to go ahead and move on to the next topic?
I think so.
All right. So the main topic of this week. So as I said, we have some teams that are set 100% or one win away. Just all they need is one more win, and they got their playoff spot. So starting off with the team who has it set in stone in North Kai. Your team, the Earth Defenders, there is no way they cannot make it to the playoff. Even if you get all losses and Sands get all wins, you won the divisional between them, so you are set. So, tell me about your team. How do you think that your team is overall?
Honestly, I feel more confident about getting to this bye week than I have in previous seasons. Not because of how well we've done. It's because last season, a couple seasons ago, we lost the bye week because we lost a divisional. But so far, we have won all our divisionals that mattered, and so close to the point where even if we tie with them, we're still going to be at a better position. Yeah, we got a much better position.
Yeah, actually, you have the bye week. Yeah, not only do you have the playoffs, but you have the guaranteed bye week, right? Because there's only 4 weeks left, and you won all the divisionals, so there's no way, even if they tie you, you got it, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you got the divisional and the bye week, so, yeah, congratulations. But, what do you think your end record's going to be? You think they're actually going to go 14-1?
No. No. There's some teams that we know that we are going to be struggling against. I won't say who. But we know we're going to be struggling against them because they have a certain character or setup that we may not be able to handle right away well enough.
Okay.
So that's a thing. But we do feel like once we get up to them, we may be receiving some losses.
Okay, and are you built for 5? Like, there's no conflicting Pataras with the 5 of them when they all go on the team together?
We've been working on that a bit, and I think we're ready. Especially since, as you probably noticed on some of the other stuff, we've been making some new builds on some of the characters because we knew some of the Pataras that we need on certain characters are,
Yeah, conflicting.
Conflicted.
Yeah, Yamcha's doing okay. Tien is definitely your weaker member right now, your weakest member. The switchover, how do you think the switchover's been? He went from defense to more like a spam B2 build.
I think it went well, to be honest.
Okay.
Tien definitely is benefiting more from his new build than the tank one, as you probably noticed with his improved performances.
Yep, but it's still less than 30k. Everybody else is over except for him, so hopefully he can step in.
Well, yeah, but at least he's getting closer to it than he did on the tank build, where he was just giving damage to the other team.
Yeah. And how far do you think you're gonna make it in the playoffs? You're already making it to what not the quarterfinals, but almost there. You already got your bye week. So do you think that you can possibly be division champions compared to the other teams in your division? You already beat them once, and then you would face the division champion of East Kai and then the Bull. So do you think that this might be your season to win it all?
I think so. I'm really hoping for it as well.
I mean, we're all hoping for it, but do you believe?
I believe, yeah.
All right.
I believe that we're at that point where it's more possible than we have had in previous seasons.
Yeah, I mean, your team's kind of infamous for not doing too hot in the playoffs, so, I believe Blades took you out last season.
They did, and because it was because of Cyborg Tao, for some odd reason or another, all of a sudden fixed him to where
Yeah.
he broke through every one of our characters.
Yep. That sounds like Blades. They always show up during the playoffs, but we're going to be discussing them coming up. So you ready to move on to the next team?
I believe so.
All right. So the next team, the ones that got the guaranteed sit in the playoffs, and Iskai Majins. They, Ginyu. There's no way Ginyu can pass them up. So Majins are looking like a pretty scary and consistent team. I know we're facing them this week. They really don't have any weak link. Even their weakest link is definitely Babidi, but there's been some times where Babidi shows up and does like 60k. So I don't know. Majin is good. Majin Vegeta is a good spammer. Their Goku is a great defense character with that eternal life. Deborah is still Deborah. That team is looking like they could possibly go the distance. What do you think?
Honestly, you were the Majins. That's the one you were just talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they're a very strong team. Like I've said before in the past, I've always considered them to be the rival team to Earth Defenders because mainly in the past we've shared the division with them plenty of times, and often enough they're the reasons why they're the reason that we don't often get the bye week because we either lose to them or we lose a divisional to them.
If I remember correctly, your match was very, very close. Like, you barely won it between Majins and you. So...
Yeah, but then if you remember season before, we lost to them hard. Mm-hmm. And it was mainly because their spamming Majub was the perfect counter for most of our team.
So he's not really spammer built now. He's definitely more of a melee build. But, he sprinkles in some B2s on TNAI, which, is known for being aggressive and throwing out B2. So he's kind of like not a hybrid, but kind of built to be a hybrid. Just melee and throwing the B2s when you can. But, they're a good team. And the way it's looking, if you're divisional champion of North and they're divisional champion of East, you will be facing them again in the semifinals. So do you think that you can take them again?
I believe so. We've been more confident against them since we've been fighting them before. Mm-hmm. So I feel like we can take them, but at the same time, I don't want to downplay Majins at all.
Right.
Because if you downplay any team, and I want to express this very much, if you downplay any team or underestimate them by any means, that just leaves you open for a big upset that's going to hurt you.
Yep, as Squee says, any other week, you can't even underestimate Ginyu Force. Ginyu Force can come and beat you. Like, no one thought that a team like Ginyu Force would beat a team like Afterlife, but they did, So, don't underestimate any team. Take every opponent seriously, and that's definitely what's good about this league now in these later seasons, is that every team is scary. There's no team where you're just like, easy win, So, Majins, they're definitely looking like a contender. I don't believe they've even made it to the bowl, let alone won a division, or won the whole thing. But let's see if maybe this is their season.
Mm-hmm.
Ready to move on to the next team?
Yes.
All right. So only Earth Defenders and Majins are guaranteed in. The next two teams are one win away. There's one more, and they got their spot. So in West Kai, we have the top of West Kai, which is the androids. So what do you think about the androids?
Definitely a scary team. We're facing them this week, funny enough.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, if there's any team that can get you to your second L, it's definitely the androids. Team Cell.
One of the characters we were scared of, though, is not going to be in this week. Android 17, as you said.
Their Android 17's kind of iffy. He really is. They definitely need to get him working, because he's been dropping the ball for them. He's been getting them a couple of L's, getting them a couple, closer wins than they really want. So, if there's anybody who's going to be down, the team's going to be him. Yeah,
but his fighting style is what counters Goku, and that's what we were worried about putting him in this week.
Yeah.
Because his up-and-close fighting style, as you noticed, is the way of dealing with mid-Goku.
Yeah. Just don't give him a chance to breathe. Get someone in there aggressive, punch him. He can't charge. He can't do his B1s. And
Exactly.
his melee game is fine, but, compared to, like, a true melee or, an android who can charge up naturally, while Goku can't charge, they're going to have the energy over him to counter his melee. They're going to have, the energy to jump back and hit him with the B2, like, definitely. When we faced the androids and not Super 17, regular 17, Android 17 fought Kid Buu, Kid Buu could not breathe, and Kid Buu had Ki +2, and he couldn't charge, he couldn't have the energy. And while Kid Buu still did the 40k at the match, it was probably one of Kid Buu's kind of lackluster performances due to that. So, yeah, if they can get him working, he's definitely gonna be scary. But 16, his melee game, his grabs, he's strong. Ader, that tanky Ader who has that kind of go forward B2, is very strong. Of course, Cell, we can't forget him. Jiro, they switched him for a pool, and he's been a lot better. Doing even more than 40k. So androids, as soon as they get that 17 ready, they'll be really good. So worried about
androids.
Them.
Yeah, like I said, 17 was one of the scarier ones. We were thinking if he were to go up against Goku, because of the fact of his fighting style just counters him, and like you were just saying, up close and personal fighters is what hurts these kind of characters.
Yeah. So.
And it's good examples is Trunks, one of the weaker characters on Blades, was able to completely counter Goku because he was constantly in his face, just even if he wasn't doing a lot of damage, just slightly tapping him or just interrupting him whenever he was doing anything was the way to counter him.
Yep, just dodge and whittle him down and get in his face. Yeah, there's definitely a counter to mid Goku, despite everybody saying that there's nothing that can beat him, and you guys being so OP. There's ways around it. You can beat Earth defenders. They're not unbeatable.
We're not unbeatable. We've gone close so many times, and it's the fact of if you know the counter for certain characters, all of a sudden we become manageable. We can become stronger, and basically we are very beatable. We have come close so many times that it's been a mere luck that we won.
Yeah, I could. There's like what, 3 or 4 teams that were like very close to beating you, like within like a bar or two.
Especially your team.
Yeah, that was.
If Kid Buu showed up.
Yeah, Kid Buu showed up, we probably would have won. But what you gonna do? Just next time we beat you, we'll just be in the ball. How's that sound?
We're gonna give Goku some roid rage. So.
All right, so androids. The next time you would face them would be in the bowl. They got a couple weeks to get 17 working, and once they got him working, I know he's out this week, but I know they've been looking at some different AIs and different builds for him next week. Hopefully they get him working, and we can see if androids can get their first W for Tenkaichi Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and go ahead.
One of the suggestions I do make for them is maybe have they ever tried a tank build on 17?
I don't think they've ever tried a tank build. Yeah.
I feel like he would be the one to benefit from a tank build with a hybrid of with a grab build. I've always felt that he'd probably benefit more from that.
Yeah, tank build might work. They could possibly do a B2 Aider and then a tank 17. Maybe switch it around. Maybe that's one thing they might want to think of looking at. Especially if they win this week and they got their spot set in, they can just experiment for the remainder 3 weeks and try to get things working for the playoffs. So, all right. So if any Android members is listening to this cast, there you go.
Yeah.
Moving on, the last team, one win away from getting their playoff spot confirmed. We have the Blades. The Blades have been looking fairly scary lately, They do have a weak member in Trunks. He hasn't been that great lately. Kind of give or take. Sometimes he does pretty well, and sometimes he does really bad. But of course, Jane passed up Cell once again, so Jane is number 1 in the league stat wise. So they got number 1 Jane. Yajirobe is looking pretty good, for Yajirobe. Spamion is Spamion, no complaints there. Super 17, while they say that he's the rust bucket of crap and a waste of Zenny, he's actually doing really well for them. So if they can get Trunks working, and maybe possibly if Trunks doesn't work, switch him out for Cyborg Cal. Blades are infamous for doing really well in the playoffs. I mean, they beat you guys last
Mm-hmm.
season, and they lost to Derp and Nova Shinran last season, but they made it farther than we thought they were going to make it. They already won a bowl. I believe they won season 7. Yeah, they won season 7. So, this might be the chance for Blades to get their second win and join the other teams for second wins. Because the only teams that don't have 2 wins are Blades and Booze. Every other team who's won a bowl already has 2 wins. So, let's see if Blades can get their second. What do you think about Blades?
Definitely, they gave us one of the closest matches we've had in a long time for a while, since we were facing as he said, a lot of the less higher tier teams, as a lot of people are counting them right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they certainly were the closest to giving us a loss, because they brought us down to our last member.
Yeah.
And if there was a stronger performance in I want to say Tapion is certainly one of their stronger members, but despite them having him on a key build, he's not the Spamion that we know from before.
I mean, he's thrown a total of 42 B2s this season. Like, that's a nice amount. He throws a nice amount. It's just they don't hit very hard. He has super minus, and they're not the strongest B2, so they kind of hit like a wet paper towel. So he really has to smack you up with the whole roll to do enough damage. Like, there's been times where he performs really well. He's with a lot of B2s, and he still barely pulls 40 just because he doesn't hit very hard and his melee game's not that great. So. I wouldn't say that he's an issue. Jane can still take his man 2-mans, and Tapion does his 40, Yaj does his 40, Super 17 does his 40. They're set to do really well, and it's kind of, you see a pattern here. It's like Majins did really well against Earth Defenders, are doing really well. Blades did really well against Earth Defenders, are doing really well. So the pattern persists. It might look like Androids might beat you this upcoming week, or at least get close. So watch out. And of course, another team that did really well against you might do really well in the playoffs. Booze. So yeah. So good luck, Blades. I don't think that you're gonna make it past your own division, because Booze will beat you. Just saying. But yeah. All right, so those 4, congratulations. You're either set or 1 win away. So looking forward to seeing how you guys are gonna do with your 5-man team in the playoffs.
Yeah.
All right, and if you don't have anything else to say, we can just go ahead and move on to the last thing, which is, of course, predictions.
Yeah.
All right. So, predictions for Week 12. So, starting off, we have Match 1. We have Rugrats at Namek, and because of the time that we're actually recording this, build's already up. So, Rugrats sat out Goten, and Namek sat out King Piccolo. So, who do you predict is going to win?
Rugrats versus King Piccolo.
Well, Namek without King Piccolo.
I know. I just wanted to make a quick joke. Because a lot of times these matches relied on him.
Oh, yeah.
And let's see. Yeah, without him, I'm still gonna give it to Namek, because I feel like they've been one of the strong upsetters in the season. Like, they've had a lot of upset matches that have brought them drastically close, even without King Piccolo. Mm-hmm. And I feel like without Gotenks, who they've been relying on recently, mm-hmm. I feel like they're not ready without him. So mm-hmm. I'm gonna have to give it to Namek.
Okay. I'm gonna go the opposite way. I'm gonna have to go to Rugrats, because even they can't do Gotenks, they still have Kid Trunks. They still have Super Boo, who's been really good. They still have, Gigi Goku, who hits like a truck, and they still have Seljin Yu, that got working well. Namek, not only did they sit out King Piccolo, who's arguably their best member, but Slug has been really bad lately. Like, Namek, if you're listening to this, I would put out Slug for Baby back, and I would put Baby on a defense build. Like, that's what I would do, because Slug, he's just not been working for you. He's you tried him on defense, he wasn't working. You tried him on B2, he's not working. He's just struggling, and I think it's about time to kick him out.
I think they're going to drop him to get back Nail next season.
That might be, because it was looking like it was going to be early pick, but even early pick is doing better. So maybe switch back to Nail. I don't know. But Namek, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to give it to Rugrats this week. All right, match 2. We have Earth Defenders at Android, so you're in the water. Goku can't charge, worth nothing. Earth Defenders, you sat out Yamcha, who is arguably your second worst
Mm-hmm.
And Android sat out 17, who is right now is definitely their worst. So I'm assuming that you're going to go ahead and say your team.
Of course, we have a very specific strategy going in.
All right. I'm going to have to go with Androids. If there's any team that can give you your second loss, it's them. Cell can easily kick your butt. Your Krillin, its melee game is good, but I mean, that 16 hits like a truck on top of your defense minus. And they got arguably the best team. 17's been their most inconsistent, and they're bringing their best against you. So I think if there's any team that can get you that second out, it's going to be them. All right. So
Yep.
match 3. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, you want to gloss over some details over them, over
No.
the Earth Defenders?
No, there's nothing to say about Earth Defenders. They're just Earth Defenders. Keep getting them wins and get your nerf next season. Right? No, personally, I don't think you should be nerfed this season. But if you keep this up next season, then yes. But
the way Burns been talking, it looks like he's like, oh, we're definitely doing something about them next season.
Wow, what can they possibly do?
They're probably gonna take away Vegeta from us.
That'd be crazy. That would be.
And we'd be left down a member since they can't just give us back Chaozu. So
yeah, I have no idea what they would do. I mean, it's not like Afterlife could pick up, mid Vegeta. I don't know. Maybe Muscle, maybe because Super Vegeta in the Super form, but I'm not sure if he's buff enough. I'm not even sure if this is in the master list. Anyway, that's another topic for another thing. Match 3, we have Majin at Boo's. Majin sat out Engoku, and Boo's sat out Nuova Shinran.
All right, I'm gonna have to give it to Blade still for this match.
You mean Majin's?
I mean Majin. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong list. Yeah, Majin's. As much as I, Majin's have not been the greatest this season, I still look at them as one of the rival teams to Earth Defenders because,
what do you mean not the greatest season? They're 7-3. No, 8.
No. I mean in certain matches when they needed to, show up.
Yeah. Majin's are a really good and consistent team.
Yeah, but I feel like they've been consistent enough where they can definitely handle this match.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to say Boo's, not only because it's my team, but we predicted them 100%, and when we predict a team 100%, we usually crush them. So we're sitting nice and pretty, and they also set out that Engoku. That was our biggest worry, because not only is he a defense character, and we're kind of weak defense characters at moments, but also he has the Eternal Life, so they set out their Eternal Life. They don't have Eternal Life. We have a winning chance. And fun fact, despite Nuova being our best, every time we set out Nuova, we win. So I think that we can do it. Oob is looking good. Evil Boo is looking good. Kid Boo is working. We got him on a working build, and Gohan Boo is working. Like, all our members are ready to go. So while they have Babidi, who is give or take, iffy. And like I said, we predicted them and lined up exactly who we wanted everywhere. The funny thing is, the match is going to start off with a Oob off. It actually begins with Oob versus Majub. So that should be interesting.
Who's the better Oob?
Mm-hmm. All right, so we're still divided. All right, match 4. We have Muscle at Blades. This is a divisional. Muscle sat out Roshi. They also made some purchases. So they purchased an attack +1 for Trunks and a defense +1 for Broly for 5 Zen he spent. While Blades, they sat out Yajirobe with no purchases. So who do you think is going to win?
I'm still giving it to Blades.
All right. So, just think that our overall strength and more consistent being at the upper end of the South Kai is able to outbeat Muscle, who's struggling to even get into the playoffs. I think that if there's any match where Blades might eat it, it might be this one. Muscle, they brought in their best lineup. Definitely, they have not took a L when Roshi is out. While Blades, Yajirobe's one of their better members. They lined up really well, and they gave that attack +3 Trunks. If there's anybody who can break through that defensive chain and get it in, it's going to be that Trunk. So I'm going to have to say that. I mean, I really don't have a stake either way in this match. Blades win. Then Muscle chances of getting the playoffs slip. But then if Muscle wins, then there's a chance we might pass up Blades and as the bye week. So I don't know. I don't really have a stake, but I'm going to say that if there's any chance that Muscle can do it, it might be this time. They lined up well.
So you're lining up with Team Muscle this week?
Yep. The 1 week where I'm going to line up with Team Muscle. Alright, match 5. We have Valkyries at Gohan's. Val sat out Aurelie, and Gohan sat out Ultimate Gohan.
I'm still gonna be giving it to. I'm gonna give it to Gohan's.
Okay. I'm gonna have to give it to Val's. Gohan's, they sat out Ultimate Gohan, who's been one of the better members lately, especially with, that Defense Eternal Life build. I mean, it still seems, even up to week 12, they're still experimenting and putting builds on different people, and I don't know, but, they're not using Eternal Life this week. Well, of course, Valve, since they sat out Aurelie, guess what they're using this week? Yep, they're gonna go ahead and bring back that Eternal Life, 18 that we saw last season. That beat Dirt really well, so I'm gonna have to give it to Valve. So I think that they might be able to pull it off.
I just feel like without Aurelie, they're losing one of their biggest guns, so I can't really give it to them against the Blades.
Gohan,
sorry. Because Gohan's, I feel like they've been working on their characters a little better since the beginning of this season, and I feel like they've been starting to fix their stuff. That I think this is one of the matches where they may win.
All right. Match 6, we have Dragon Ball Warriors at Afterlife. Dragon Ball Warriors sat out Nam, and Afterlife sat out Pycon, so they both arguably sat out their best members. Who do you think's gonna win?
Afterlife, I feel like they've been having a more consistent team this season than Dragon Ball Warriors, sadly enough.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have to give it to Dragon Ball Warriors. I was talking with Afterlife, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we predicted Dragon Ball Warriors lineup 100%." But then when you look and compare the builds, it really seems like Dragon Ball Warriors is the one that countered Afterlife. So I don't think you reverse counter. So I definitely think that Dragon Ball Warriors are gonna end up pulling this out, and with no Pycon to really clean up their mess, I'm gonna have to give it to Dragon Ball Warriors. Still divided. We don't agree on anything. Alright, match 7. We have Cold at Sans. Cold sat out Cooler, and Sans sat out Scouter Vegeta. Alright, who do you think's gonna win?
Cold.
Gold, you think Cold's gonna win? Alright. Any reason why?
Cold has been really good this season, and despite leaving one of their strongest members, I still feel like they have one of the better chances to win.
Alright, I'm gonna have to go with Sans. They have a nice lineup compared to Cold. Their team is looking fairly built and consistent. They look like they're built for 5. Well, Cold, they're still having some issues. King Cold's borrowing the Patara off of Cooler. He's still running that weird high tension that doesn't really work for them. They're just weird. And, of course, Sans have Eternal Life while Cold does not. So, that might be a big factor. Alright, so I'm gonna give it to Sans. Alright, Last but not least, we have yet another divisional, and probably the biggest and most important divisional this week. We have match 8, Derp at Ginyu. So, Derp sat out Hercule. Now, let me read this off, because both teams spent a lot of Zenny. So, Derp, they purchased a defense +1 for Kabito Kai, a dragon power for Devilman, and attack +1 for Dodoria for 12 Zenny spent. Ginyu sat out Goldo. They purchased a map swap to Rocky Area, so, they don't have to worry about their weird spaceship map in the space, but, wouldn't be too much of an issue since they don't have Rikumen, but I don't know. They purchased a 2 key +1s, one for Birder, one for Gotenks, and 2 attack up +1s, one for Captain Ginyu and one for Jace. So 18 Zenny spent. So, this is it. Who do you think's gonna win between Derp and Ginyu?
I'm gonna give it to Ginyu. You know what?
Ginyu can do it?
I want the underdogs to win this one. I really love Ginyu as a team, and I want to see them succeed. So I'm gonna give it to Ginyu. You have Earth Defender's backing, dude.
All right. I can't. Derp is just a little bit of a stronger team. You're both kind of iffy, and I can see it swinging any other way. But looking at the lineup and how the countering is, I'm gonna have to give it to Derp. And of course, once again, Eternal Life. They got that Eternal Life Dodoria, who went elite on the blades. Very strong character, and they both spent a nice amount of Zenny. But overall, a stronger and more consistent team. I'm gonna have to give it to Derp. You might be able to edge out Namek, but right now I just think that this isn't your season, Ginyu. If you win, yay! But if I don't think so. So interesting enough, we disagreed on every single topic, every single team we disagreed on.
Oh yeah.
All right, so you know what? For fun, and guys, in the comment section below, go ahead and tell us your predictions for who do you think is going to win this upcoming week. And we are now done with this week's YCast. So if you have anything to complain about, any questions or anything, go ahead and type them in the comment section below, or type to us in Discord or on the forums. Thank you, Motork, for joining me.
No problem.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for all support, and we will see you guys next week for YCast Season 9, Week 12. Bye.
See ya.